You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the online season that makes it official. Welcome to over 16 years, 23 and episodes of the Chris Voss Show. The CEOs, the billionaires, the White House presidents, advisors, the Pulitzer Prize winners, all the most amazing authors, storytellers, bringing their stories and journeys of life to you so that you can learn more about how everything works and how to make your life better as well. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today we have an amazing young man on the show with us today. We're going to be talking about his insights. His book came out July 13th, 2022. It is called Whiz Diary, Secret Keys to Self-Mastery by Desirel Calvin Lawrence, and we're going to get into it with him on the show. He's an author with a very different way of communicating his imaginations. The books he's written are a testament to this fact. He is capable of taking you through the rabbit hole of his imagination and releasing you into a world of realization like no one else can. At least you can be the judge of that. However, his mission is to create a truly rich world where everyone can partake in the beauty, wisdom, and deep meanings of life and community. Welcome to the show, Mr. Lawrence. How are you?
I am doing so well. Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Give us your .coms. How can we find out more about you on the interwebs?
The best part to do it is just go to hotlib.us/whiz. That gives you access to the book right away, so you can just even get access to the book. But if you just need to check out Whiz Diary, just yes.
Go.
Yes.
So I think we're getting a little delay and some fallout on the feed. So give us those .coms just so we make sure we have them in the can.
So the .com that you need is hotlib.us/whiz. You get automatic access to the book. And then if you want to follow along and actually get to write your own inspiration in the book, you can simply buy the book on Amazon. Just search for the name Desirel Calvin Lawrence and search for the title Whiz Diary, be able to find the book and pretty much get the book and get a hard copy for yourself.
So give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside the book.
A 30 feet overview, or however you say it, it's pretty much very powerful quotes that allow you to really think and delve deep into who you are as a person, to anything you can possibly think of in society, from your personal self, your own experience, or your experience in the life of another person, your experience as a family man, a friend, whatever. And then it takes it even further into society, how you relate to your leaders in society, how all these people are unique characters that help you fashion your own life. All these things are within the book, and in so many ways it's actually the same. Everything seems to have a way of touching on life in such a powerful way, and it's quite interesting. I could tell you even some of these quotes and just give you, and it's a very insightful book that liberates the mind. Actually,
liberating the mind, that's more of what we need. We need some more minds that are liberated from being stupid and being smart. Let's put it that way. So Whiz Diary, is it a diary of yours, or is it a diary where people can write in it, per se, along with the 200 verses you have in it to self-mastery?
Exactly. I have the book hand. Maybe I give a...
Sure.
I prefer so you can see. So here's the book, and what happens is, for every quote that I write, there's a space in front of it that allows you to write. So you can write over here, you get another quote, and you write over and you write your thoughts. There's over 200 quotes that I'm telling you, if you really delve into the meanings of these quotes, they are mind blowing. As a matter of fact, how I wrote this book is mind boggling in itself because, and maybe I even go into that story later, but yeah, but that is my start to this book came from a deep reflection, a state of mind that was just out of this world. I was in meditation, and I was going through a very trying period as well. And that's what happens when I do most of my writings. I'm like, there's like a volcano coming out of me that I need to understand. I need to get a grab on, and I can get a grab on it, and then I need to write, and I can feel it. I can feel this thing bubbling within me that I need to write. I need to write right now, and I do that.
Tell us the story of your life. How did you grow up, and how many books do you have, too? I'm curious. Evidently, there's a lot of work you have going on.
Yeah. So when it comes to how many books I have, I've written about 4 books now. Little thesis statements that I've written in different places that I just used to bring my thoughts together. But I've written about 4 books. One is called Hallelujah, which is a compendium of the book that really delves into the Gospels and uses the understanding of the characters in the Gospels to create thought-provoking questions so that you can ask yourself this question and look, how does this reflect on me as a person? And so that is the Hallelujah 900-page book or more. I have another book called The Power of Paradise. Now, The Power of Paradise is actually his diary, because when I wrote The Power of Paradise, all I was thinking about was releasing myself again from this torrent of energy that was overwhelming me, and I needed to release these words in a way that I could communicate these truths. I started off first. I grew up in a different way. My life has been quite unique in its own way, but everyone has a unique life and a unique story. I grew up around books in general. My dad was a pharmacist. My mom was a microbiologist. There was all these big books all around the house. And then I had a library. We had a library in the house that had the Book of Knowledge and things of that nature. So I always entertained myself with reading from a very young age. But what happened later on in life will be the fact that I got into college, and after studying all kinds of books, I've picked up the Bible, I've picked up the Quran, I've picked up the Bhagavad Gita, I've picked up all these books, these big mind books, but I've also picked up books like Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park, you got Robert Ludlum, John Grisham, and all these great minds that come up with writings, and I've picked up their books and I've read their books, and I'm like, how do these people come up with something this original? After I started thinking about that, I was inspired to just look into it and see if I could do it myself, because I just felt like this were original minds. However they're coming up with these things, it blows the mind. I need to be able to do this. So I delved into it, and when I was able to tap into this spirit because I took up short story writing. And when I took up short story writing, we're talking about inspirations like Edgar Allan Poe, all this Ernest Hemingway, all these great minds that have written very interesting books, come up with in Gothic pieces and all that. And I took their writing style and I started something called the constructionist approach to writing. And that is how I started writing. And I started the deconstructionist approach to writing. I wrote The Power of Paradise and had all these quotes that I wrote in front of each story. And then when I did that, I said, you know what? I need to come up with a book of quotes, because this will actually, and actually I didn't even think of saying I need to come up with a book of quotes. I came up with these quotes during a very trying period, but then I took these other quotes that were in this book and I added it to the Witch Diary, again, if anyone is listening, they just need to just go in the book and just read it right away before they even get a hard copy and write their thoughts, because it will really inspire them mind. It inspires me even to today. So I'm so driven by writing when it comes to things that are inspired and change the needle in the positive direction. Yeah.
Now that you have these books, you're inspiring people. What motivates you on to write these books and inspire people? What is it that at your core is the thing that kind of drives you?
I think, Mike, I believe it has not always been like this. I believe it's a calling. Because normally just on computer designing stuff or doing something different. But when I write, it's not because I want to cook up something. It's not really what motivates me to write. It's like when I write, there's a driven desire to release something. It's like there's a burden on my heart and I have to release it. And so that is what drives me to write. And also that did not come about as a reason of that. I put together a book for a non-profit organization, Snobs. And it was a compendium of information that I was using to promote that organization, so I could help them, reach out to the community that they were engaged with. But when I really write, it comes from the depth of my spirit, where I'm just writing from an inspiration, from an overpouring that comes out of my spirit, and I just write. So that's how I really write. It's non-premeditated. It just comes out like that, and I write it based on a state of mind. And it's kind of unique in itself, because I sometimes, is this speaking to me or is it speaking to somebody else? Because I'm like, is it trying to communicate with me, or is it trying to communicate with somebody else? And I look at it and I say, at the end of the day, this can help a lot more people than just me. And so I share it with the world.
It's interesting how the challenges that we face, the inspirations that we find in the world, we can find that other people need as well, and it hits them as well, on top of what we does for ourselves. And so, that's the human condition. We all go on these journeys. We're never alone. There's people in the world that share the same problems we have. And sometimes what we do through sharing our stories, our journeys, our lessons, our writing, we help find other people that are just like us. And then off you go, right?
Yes, I do agree. Yes.
So what do you hope people come away from with the book? What do you hope that the readers, the people that buy the book get?
Let me just open up. I'm just going to flick on the page. I'm going to have a feel of what this is. And I'm going to open to what is actually in front of me right now. And I'll read this. It says, don't compare your lot with that of another man's great portion. For your share in spirit may be greater than his. So that is a strange quote, but it's one of the things that just came out with me. Let me read this other one. It says, make your bed early, so that tomorrow's haste does not become your calamity. It's crazy. There's a lot of this worth is to stand tall and well, humble to the fact that through her, life and all that exists is born.
Definitely inspirational, man, and motivational.
Yes, there's a lot. There's 200 of these quotes, and if you dig deep, it will transcend your thinking in so many ways. There's this one I'm looking at. A potter's design is a semblance image. Please listen to this. A potter's design is a semblance of a buyer's image. For indeed, his work will find you and give you back a part of yourself. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you find, and the quotes are a collection from everywhere of different inspirational materials. Is that correct?
Yeah. No, it actually came out of through meditation. So I literally I was in bed in a very isolated space where I was, and these inspirations were coming, and I knew that I needed. They were just popping up in my head, and I had to find a notepad. I got a pencil, and I started writing these things down, as much as I could at any point in time, and I wrote down all of them. This was 10 years ago. I wrote down as many as I possibly could during that state of mind. I mean, I said, you know what? I need to make it into a book so that I can actually reflect on this and not lose what I've written.
Something to put it all in place.
It stayed with, yes, exactly.
When did you know you became a writer?
Again, it's interesting that I never really delved into writing until I got to college. When I got to college, again, and I picked up, and it was because college gave me the opportunity to just really explore the different things that were available in the learning space. And I looked at writing, and I was like, this is something all very great writers. Let me take advantage of this. So I went to the short story writing, and that is when I came upon the deconstructionist approach to writing. And I wrote my first story called Living Colors on Time that I wrote in college. And after I wrote that story, I was inspired to keep writing over time. And maybe about a couple of years later, after I finished writing Living Colors, I pretty much wrote out the whole stanzas of The Power of Paradise. And then I published it. And I published it a couple of times after I recreated it, cleaned it up, and then I released it to the public. But ever since then, I just started writing and developed a flair for looking into the deeper crevices of the mind that allow people to beyond their regular normal thinking, or just evolve in so many ways. And so that's my writing just takes a different slant in that sense. And
So as we go out, give people a final pitch out to anything we might have missed in their conversation, where to pick up the book, and how to find out more about you.
So if you get a copy of this book, and I believe this is something everybody wants, you can first of all go take advantage of going to Dove and just go to heartlib.us/whiz. HEARTLIB.us/whiz, WIZ, and just go through the book. It has the audio faculties. It's actually free for you at this moment, just so that you can actually see what it is. And then when you have it, get a real copy of the book, and it is the Whiz Diary itself. It gives you the chance to look through the pages, write your thoughts down. I'm telling you, some of the quotes you're going to see in this book, it'll
definitely inspire people and make a humongous difference. So,
yes.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, Desirel.
Yes, at your time and your gesture for allowing me to get on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thanks, Ernest, for tuning in. Order the book where refined books are sold. Whiz Diary, Secret Keys to Self-Mastery, out July 13th, 2022 by Desirel Calvin Lawrence. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss 1, on the TikTokity and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time. And that should have us out, man.